Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Alienate UK. Oh, that was painful. Sorry.
What the heck?
I don't know what's been going on. Everything was fine. Then we all started glitching. Then you couldn't get on. Oh, we're all there now. So it's
We're
all
here.
good.
Well, actually, I'm here and you're there.
Yeah. So let's welcome our guest, who I had the privilege of meeting and hanging out with for a couple of days. It's the one and only Ryan RPG. I was going to pronounce your surname, but I'm not even going to try. So
that's good. It's been butchered since birth. It's all good. I don't.
How do you say it?
It's like the mythical the Golem. You've ever heard of the Golem?
Yeah.
In Jewish lore. Yeah. So Golembeske.
Golembeske.
Am I glitching again? Does it look? It looks like I'm glitching.
Only a little bit. It will sort itself out. So
okay, good.
Wouldn't worry too much. When it plays back, it'll all be nice and smooth. Unlike Gettysburg, where it was just pure chaos.
Pure chaos.
Did you hear the cannon fire? Did you hear the marching?
No, nothing.
Oh.
And it was too hot to go out in the day. It was like 34, 35. And then at night, it was between 29 and 32.
Still hot for you.
Too
We had a good
hot.
time, though. It was fun.
It was really good. It was really good. And we went to the battlefield, and I think I heard a bear in the bushes. It sounded like a bear.
Really?
Did it sound like a bear?
No.
It was like...
If it was a bear, you would have known it was a bear.
But he might have been going up. He might have been going away from us, not coming towards us.
You know what? We'll just let Andy think it was a bear.
Sure. It wasn't a couple in the bushes. That's all we know. We know it was definitely a bear.
Yeah, it was a bear going the opposite way. Just a little bear, not a big one. Just a cub or something. So.
Well, hey, a couple things. One, your background, I know we already talked about it, is amazing.
Yeah.
That's like my dream. That's my future. Eventually, I will have a background like that. And Nicole, it is nice to see you smiling. I know from that image.
Why did I look so grumpy?
Why were we so
like I was
happy and you
miserable.
were so grumpy? Yeah.
Probably because Andy made a really dumb joke.
Yeah.
No. All my jokes are good. As you found out firsthand, both of you.
Dad jokes.
I've
got an amazing one.
Go on.
Yeah, let's
You're
hear
gonna
it.
share it.
What does a Yeti do when they're tired?
What?
Himalaya down. Come on, it's good. That one's
that one was bad.
That was bad.
All right. Okay. Well, that's the best I got. So that's.
Oh. Well, to be honest, it's probably better than any of mine. So.
Nicole.
Yeah, it's all good. Do you have any, Nicole?
Dad jokes?
Oh, yeah.
No, I have no dad jokes.
Right. Oh, so just quickly, we are going to talk about Gettysburg on Friday. We're going to do an hour show and give you all the updates and everything. But would you all like to see the moment where me and Nicole met for the first time?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm coming out the airport. I'm on the phone, and I'm trying to find where Nicole is outside the terminal. And you've got all the taxi drivers, cab drivers, trying to learn into a cab.
Abducted.
Oh, so there's some South American.
Stick him in a taxi.
There's some South American guy couldn't speak. All he could say was taxi. That was it. He had no. And I'm on the phone to Nicole. It's like looking at where you are because you got the letters on the pillars, and he's going taxi. I'm like, no, I've got a lift. Don't worry. And at this point, I'm getting frustrated. So I'll play the video. There we go. Oh, hello. Where was you?
I was over there.
He's over there.
Well,
Oh my god.
Over there.
How
That's where you
weird.
were.
How weird. This is so weird.
I know you're here.
I am-
We're that way.
Right. See,
Super dry in that heat.
yeah, well, it wasn't when I got on the plane, and it was just easier to carry it. But did you hear that guy shout, "Sir"?
Mm-hmm.
That was a guy who was trying to get me in his. I think it was. Well, even a taxi. It was a van.
Jeez.
Don't let
Surprised he
people-
didn't offer you ice cream.
No, if he'd have offered me ice cream, I'd have got in there.
Yeah. Hi, Andy.
There's cryptids in my van. Let's go.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
got
I'd
something
have
for your wall in your office. Come in, Andy. You're like, what? You had me at
yeah.
wall.
I have something new for my wall.
Oh yes.
It's so pretty.
Yes.
Congrats. Yeah, I feel like in our discipline there are two ways you can go. You can go massive and cluttered like we love, or just I like your background. I like it's just it's not over cluttered with one beautiful thing. They're both equally as awesome in my book, you know. I'd like to mix it up more, but it took so long to put that together. I ain't doing.
Yeah. No, totally get it. It's like I keep looking at all this and think, is it too much?
No.
Then I'm like, nah. And then Mrs. comes in and goes, I can't even look at that wall.
Well, yeah, that's
yeah. So anyway, that's it. Enough about us. So Ryan, how are you?
amazing. It's the busy season, so there is a conference every weekend. The only bummer is my boy saying to me, Dad, you're going away too much. I miss you. But he would never say that unless I went away enough. So it's like it's a win, lose, lose, win. Like, you know, it kind of has to happen. But I love it because I get to come home paradise, you know, to this life I built. We live on a little farm where I'm developing a Bigfoot food forest. So bringing back native plants, medicinal plants, creating an oasis in this expanding concrete jungle that is Florida. So kids will have a place to go and still hold baby chickens and baby ducks and pick their own eggs and vegetables and blah, blah, blah. But that's amazing. And then from there, I launch out and I get to go hang with wonderful people like yourselves, where we can talk about all the weirdest stuff and like get into it and create amazing theories. And yeah, life at this point is beautiful. It's beautiful. So thank you for asking.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming on.
It's crazy when you're gone so much. You want to be home, but when you're home, like there's so much going on that you need to be involved in.
Yeah. There's Gettysburg everywhere, right? And if you could be a part of it all, it would be wonderful. So you got to temper it. But it's nice.
I do that once a year.
Yeah.
That's too much.
With that heat and that travel.
I know. Well, all I'm going to say is I've already booked that week off work for next year.
Andy couldn't hang. He was running on UK time still. So like once everything started kicking off at like 10, 11 o'clock, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning for him.
Yeah. You didn't do pre-training where you were staying up super late at night so that
I
you'd
did try. Yeah, I had 3-4 days off prior to that, and I stayed up as late as I could. I'm on my phone, I'm watching the TV, I'm on YouTube, on Facebook, just to stay up and keep going and going and going. But then I think I must have just burnt myself out in them first few days.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, I managed to get that balance of like the 2.5 hours. So not quite US, not quite UK. So
it's a fast turnaround to just go there for a long weekend. It's almost like you need a week, 2 days at the front end to dial in and then come out. But that's life. Life is you just got to rally.
It is.
So he's going to have to come see you in Florida because Andy was fascinated by cicadas.
Oh my! The noise they make. It's like electricity.
I expect the pyramids to start rising up out of the earth into the sky and like and electrifying and then going back into the ground. It gets so loud. And the funny thing is when you live in it, you actually stop even noticing it. Just all of a sudden you're shouting to your kid, get in here now, get in the house now. And you don't know why you're yelling, but it's because the cicadas are going off like a massive nature alarm.
The thing is, we're walking down like the high street in Gettysburg, and I'm like, how many's making that noise? And Sean, Nicole's husband, went, probably one. Like one. And they're that big. Well,
Yeah.
about that big.
Yeah.
How the hell is that making that noise?
I want to know how my 2-year-old can make that much of a mess in 1 minute. So, there's some mysteries in the world.
Yeah. No, it just completely freed me. Just the whole nature in the US itself, the butterflies, crickets and frogs. I couldn't hear myself thinking it was that loud. And that was outside the hotel.
Yeah. Well, what happened in England?
Iguanas? You got what in Florida, like iguanas and gators falling out of trees and stuff?
If it gets too cold, they can't deal. But it's also, we have a lot of invasive species, that exotic animal trade is bigger than I think most people realize. And a lot of us are kind-hearted. So instead of dealing with the problem and putting the animal down, we release it. And then, like they say in Jurassic Park, nature finds a way. And next thing you know, you've got a bigger problem than you were hoping for. But they are cool. I think they're cool looking. It's one of my favorite parts going to Mexico, seeing the iguanas and everything.
Wow.
So that statement actually brings me into Bigfoot. Nature finds a way. Like, what do you think? Where did Bigfoot come from? Jump right into it.
Yeah, it's an amazing question. As of late, I can tell you something that I'm more fascinated with, right? So, Andy, we were just talking about Chat GPT and what it can do for you and how it can expedite this process that my mom as a librarian once did for me. Now, I can do it right now on my phone. I was curious to know, right? Like if you go through a lot of the experiences people have with Bigfoot or relic hominids, they almost always describe it as more human-like, than ape-like. And films like the Patterson-Gimlin film, Freeman footage, certain things with the sagittal crest kind of, or the more pointy type head, it makes people want to say ape, but I don't know, man. I tend to trust Native American wisdom, and they call them a lost tribe. They're lost brothers. And sure, they'll paint a picture of like cannibals and whatnot, but they're always a people. They're not some type of other animal. They're the human animal. So I went into ChatGPT and I did a little bit of a deep dive, and I said, okay, here's my theory. My theory is, let's just start with the most basic, which is it's us. It's not even, I like to call it like the 9 tribes of Adam, or the 9 original type of Homo sapien, like Homo erectus, Neanderthal, Denisovians, like Florensis, like all that. Say it's none of them. Say that they really did all vanish, which I call BS on, but let's just say they did, and it's just us for some reason. What would it take for us to become unrecognizable? What would it take for us to this Bigfoot, right? And so within 10 generations, you're already going to start to transform. And I mean, if the 3 of us just stripped down and walked into the woods, and that was it, and we began civilization, or we at least had, you need 50 at the bare minimal. And to be honest, to not have too much of a messed up genetic makeup and, with a lot of different problems, so to speak, you're going to want at least 500. But let's just say we all went out in the woods and we began interbreeding. Here are some things that happened to us as a species. First of all, we would begin to grow our hair out. It would become a natural way to deal with the environment. Usually long, darker hair, but it could be more auburn colored because spending time in the sun. Our feet would get larger and flatter and would actually spread out. Our toes would begin to align up better, okay? If we were hunting a lot, we would spend a lot more time down on all fours to take our height down so that we could hunt. And by doing so, we would begin to build up our trapezius muscles, our deltoid muscles, especially the males. And by eating fibrous foods and raw meats and stuff, the mastication or our jaws, it would go back. We're like losing teeth and we're getting smaller. We're starting to look a little weaker. It would begin to grow and come back. We would never fully develop like a sagittal crest or not, but by our extensive walking in the woods, our hunting, our climbing, and our shoulders bigger, you would begin to get this body design that does lean you forward, does give you the appearance of more of a conical cap, and definitely makes you a lot bigger. Also, if we play by the rules of nature, which is like, I'm not the biggest, I'm 5'10", right? 5'10", 200 pounds, which is great. I could be an NFL running back. But in nature, if it was now about breeding, women would then begin choosing the largest guys. And the largest men and women would be the ones that would be procreating. So now you have your 6'5", and then eventually 6'8", and then 7 foot. We would begin getting larger and bigger, because what does that basically ensure? It ensures that we have a better chance of hunting, and our children are more robust, and capable of surviving in the elements that is nature. So within 100 generations, we would be unrecognizable. We would be, if you, one of us, even 50 generations, and you saw one of us in the woods, they call them feral humans. I think there is a very, very good chance that what we are seeing are people that completely went away from organized religion, the banking system, the armies, the social constructs that make us gather around the protective area of the fire, and they've gone off into the woods. And you could have it. Basically, what I'm saying is, Bigfoot could very well be Homo sapiens sapiens, just those that completely turned away from what we call civilization. I would say a couple thousand years ago, easily. And Chat GPT backs that up, that theory. It's an interesting theory. I will never say anything that I say is 100% true. But the beauty of science, you gather data and you create a wonderful theory. And I like to spark great conversations, you know what I mean? And I hope people even smarter or with more time than me, they can take that and really see if it ends up being true. But like Renee DeHinden said, until we have a body to study, be it alive or dead, nobody knows, or the government knows, but they're not telling, right?
Yeah.
So that's my newest theory, is that it's just us.
Interesting.
Now,
do we see that happening with tribes that are don't have a lot of contact with more advanced civilization?
Do we see that? I haven't spent any time with uncontacted tribes, unfortunately. So I don't know. Who knows? There are remote parts of the Amazon where absolutely it could happen. Remote parts of Siberia, or even people don't understand how much open space and land there is. And you don't have to be the most intelligent species to know that even in even in America, we have federal tracts of land where people are not allowed on. You have massive Indian reservations where most of it is remote, like really remote. You could easily hide small groups of people. And I think the way it sets up is it's just like Native Americans used to do it. You'd have Bear Clan, Eagle Clan, Fox Clan. You'd have these clans based out over hundreds of miles. And if you also, you listen to enough stories about Bigfoot in certain areas, like I know in the Pacific Northwest, there would be gathering points where the locals, especially the indigenous, I always say, go to the indigenous, go to the natives. Like, why we just bypass their wisdom is beyond me. It's arrogant and ridiculous. But they'd be like, oh yeah, every so many summers they meet out on that mountain, and you can hear them. You can tell there's a lot of them. So I think they did what the Native Americans used to do, is you'd have all these clans, and every so many years, the sons and daughters would gather at the top of these peaks, realizing that if they were to interbreed with their own, they could get genetic malfunctions, so that they needed to come together to share their sons and daughters and back into their respective areas where they have their own designated, apex predator areas where you don't enter, or there could be fights, we could battle, but mostly, they're peeing on trees, letting them know, like, this is our borderline, do not cross it. Except for that, every so many years when we have this big formal dance in the mountains so that we can, breed effectively. I would just start with something that simple, and then we can try to complicate it from there. But until that is either proven or disproven, I think that's what's going on with these things. I don't think you need a lot of them. You could have 5,000 in the United States, and the amazing thing is you could have some in Florida, up in Maine, up in Pacific Northwest, and they're such an athletic specimen and so amazing that I think that they could gather from those points to different places, different pilgrimages, if you would, say. But yeah, that's what I'm into right now, just it being us. But like I said, I'm very open to these other, like Homo erectus. There's still being groups of that out there doing it. Neanderthal, Denisovian, absolutely. The fact that the Smithsonian just says, oh yeah, they're all gone, we outbred them, we stole their resources, and we smallpoxed them all to death, like, no. The conventional wisdom of the modern education system is whack. And that's all I can tell you. And if you can almost accept that everything you've ever been taught by conventional education is a lie, then I think you can begin to build toward a greater truth. And then you also have to learn to trust your gut. We've all been trained to not listen to our intuition at all, especially poor women. That's been like, they tried to beat the divine feminine out of women so bad, and it's horrible. But that instinct, that gut, when you're born, the first thing that gets a brain cell is your stomach. So it's your first brain, then your heart, then your mind. And they keep us trapped up here, in my opinion, and we can wonder why people can't find their worth. They can't find their way. They're not proud to be who they are. They're stuck in dead end bullshit. That's by design, because if we all went to here, I think we would become like those that walked off into nature. We would have a connection that's more telepathic, more spiritual, more instinctual. And I think it's godly, but I don't know. I'm still working on that,
Yeah.
I like that theory.
Yeah. But I was just thinking while you were saying that, oh, that's right. Go on.
Oh, just putting this up on the topic. Daryl said that's what they say about pigs. If you put a domesticated pig in the wild, it starts to grow tusk like wild hogs.
Yes. Yeah, the whole evolution thing. Also, remember, I just like to have wonderful conversations. But yeah, I think it's all whack. I think it's adaptation. I think we live in a holographic reality where, we talked mermaids before, right? Is that
yes,
I don't know
yes, we did.
I don't know if we're going to get to that eventually, but see, they have convinced us that all the ancient texts, the ancient maps, the ancient books, minus the Bible, but even a lot of people don't even want to touch that, was all BS. It was all crap. Everything they wrote down, everything they learned was like dumb. Okay. I disagree. I think people back then, they wrote what they saw. They drew what they saw. And if you look at, and you start to really look, there's pictures of people who have faces in the middle of their chests. Pliny the Elder wrote about them. There were mermaids. There are people with dog heads, which just now they're starting to come back. We're starting to see them again. The dogman, werewolves. It's all based, I believe, in fact. I just think in this world we've created, they've sucked the imagination out of it so much that we are no longer capable of engaging this reality like we once did to create myths and monsters and all these things. We literally don't see them. It's like, I think somehow the visible and auditorial spectrum, this is like what we could see, right? It's tiny. These things could be all around us. And we just have been blinded by poor mentorship. I don't know. I won't go too far down the hole, but I think they all exist in this world. They're just in smaller pockets, and we're kept away from them, which is another why. That's another discussion. But yeah.
So, just going back to Bigfoot for a minute. So, there's a lot of say about them being supernatural and being able to have the ability to turn invisible and that. Would you say then, at this moment where you're at with your Bigfoot theory, that they're more spiritual than supernatural?
I want to say it's verbiage, right? They're more in touch with the natural world. We are we have been so conditioned to be reliant on this technology. Our mentors are horrible. It's like apex predators realizing you're an apex predator. So yeah, we can all live together, but I'm still going to prey on you. I think they're in touch with whomever created, whatever god, goddess, whatever created this world. They're in tune with that, and they can play with that light spectrum. I just think it's vibration, right? If we want to get into something that I do believe relic hominids have, or at least the Bigfoots that we've dealt with the most, they can use infrasound. And infrasound, we know that that's a real thing. You can have environmental, you can have animals, or you can have like technological, like big diesel engines and stuff. And it has an effect on human beings, like a powerful effect. And the stronger it becomes, it'll literally knock your ass out, So them being able to use that, them being able to basically screw up we're visually acute, like we're basically babies in every other way. Our senses are all numbed out. We eat garbage. We listen to, literally plug ourselves in too much. We're really made as dumb as possible, right? And so if with the right vibrational level, with the right frequency, I think it appears as if they are cloaking or vanishing, but really they're just blasting our system, and our system is like, what? It's like you're temporarily short-sighted or nearsighted or whatever. And I think it's more that simple. Once again, I will I will always go on the side of simple first. And if we prove that that's right or wrong, then great. We can move into some complex thing like they're interdimensional spirits that travel on surfboards through reality and come here to hunt because the deer meat is rocking, great, great. And I would love it if that was true. But no, I just think they're much more in tune with the natural world and their own physical gifts that I believe we could all have if we had any mentorship, to guide us.
Yeah. No,
yeah, I've heard that before, and that theory makes a lot of sense because all these things, the Fae, Bigfoot, mermaids, why wouldn't they exist just outside of our visible spectrum?
It'd be an easy place to hide, easy way to hide, and don't interact with us, because I do believe that there are those at the top of our food chain as Homo sapiens that are in touch with all that. And we're just so violent. You know what I mean? Like, if it is about apex predator, I think people forget that. Like, we are an apex predator. We're not meant to live in large groups like they put us in. Do you know that there's a statistic that after 500 people, so if a village has more than 500 people, up to 500, it's harmony, it's utopia. Everyone gets along, everyone finds their way in it, it works. After 500 is when the serial killer shows up, when the rapist shows up, when the arsonist shows up, when the problems arise. And once again, people want to paint this picture of evil, good and evil. No, it's just nature. It's nature's way of being like, whoa, this herd's getting a little big. We got to trim it down because basically nothing else is going to take this out. And then if that doesn't work, we got to hit them with a plague, because that's the only way to wipe it down so that there is harmony in this place we live in, right? Anyway,
Well, it kind of feels like that's happening now. Like all the natural disasters, all the crazy weather, it kind of feels like it's nature's way of like, all right, you guys are getting a little out of control.
Sure. It very well could be. Or, once again, I've tried to move away from the news, from all of that. You hear it. You can't help but get little pieces of it. But I try to trust my gut. And my gut just tells me that at any given point, I can speak specifically to our government, but we share governments. It's at the high level, it's all the same shit. They are 40 to 100 years technologically more advanced than we are, than they allow us to partake in. So weather modification is 100% real. They're actually bragging about it right now in Dubai, turning it into an oasis. There's certain places where you can talk about it. But HAARP in the United States, they have one in Florida. That's why this area doesn't usually get hit by hurricanes. They have it in Nome, Alaska. They know how to do it. This is you could research Tesla. He was the one that, I'm sure there was somebody else, but he researched it. They stole all his things, and they're doing that. And they do that to create the chaos and to destroy certain areas and then rebuild them or claim areas for their people. And once again, I go back to, this is not evil. Nothing they are doing is evil or anything. It's apex predators who have formed a group who are dominating the space, and it's that simple. And most of us will never get close enough to truly understanding it or grasping it, just because we don't move in those circles. We weren't born into those circles. But yeah, I think that's what's going on, more than nature is pissed at us. But it could be that too. It absolutely could be that too. But I smell human shenanigans.
We don't get into weather modification nearly enough on this channel.
No.
We're going to get into it all.
Yeah.
But do you know what we should have done? Because Paul Blake Smith, he's been messaging me and he's been telling me about this guy in Canada who predicts earthquakes and tsunamis and all that.
Sure.
And just before I got over to America, he was telling me about it. He's like, be careful while you're over there, it might happen.
Yeah.
And then on the news this morning, when I got in the van going to work, it came on about the earthquake in Russia that's caused a tsunami over the Pacific Northwest and all this other stuff going on. And then Paul's messaging me as I'm listening to the news. Yeah. And he's like sending me all these links and that. I'm like, this is what you was telling me last week. And this guy is absolutely bang on with what is going on, where it's going to happen, the magnitude of it all, and the aftershock of where it's going to hit and what it's going to do. And this is just one bloke in Canada that's doing his research 24/7. Yeah. And everything else that he's predicted, I think he's predicted about 7 or 8, I think it is. Wow. He's not been wrong on any of them.
I would, afterwards, shoot me his name. I'm always curious about things like that. More for my family's own protection, just in case something's coming, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'll send you all the links that Paul sent me. Like I said,
Yeah.
probably the last 10 days he's been sending them over.
Has
No, I
he
said-
sent you anything on Yellowstone?
Don't think so.
I haven't looked too far
No.
into it. Supposedly, all the animals were leaving the area, and when the
Yeah.
animals go, it's time to go.
Yeah, they had a lot of AI videos of things. I also just think once again, I can speak more to my culture, but I feel like we live in a fear culture. And by keeping people in a state of fight, flight, or freeze, which there's a fourth one, which I call play, which is where we thrive. But by keeping us in those three, you keep your stress levels up, and stress is the silent killer. That is the thing that will trigger all your problems. Couple that with a shit diet, couple that with being bombarded with bad frequencies, let's just say, instead of good frequencies, it limits our lifespan on this earth, and it also creates an unhealthy, paranoid, attacking apex predators. So yeah, there's a lot of tomfoolery happening, and unfortunately we're just kept so busy and so distracted that none of us have a chance to deep dive. And then what movie did I just see that did it so masterfully? Oh my God, it's when they go to the other side, and why can't I think of it right now? And they have all the monkeys typing, which are just putting slander out to sway public opinion. Oh God, it's a Marvel movie, wasn't it? It was a Marvel movie.
I know what you mean,
yeah.
but I can't think.
Yeah, it's got Mr. Fantastic. Oh, it's the new Superman movie. Duh, the new
Oh.
Superman movie. Yes, in the new Superman movie, they go to a pocket universe, pocket portal. I forget what it was called, and in it, Lex Luthor has, I forget how many, but like 1,000 or 10,000 monkeys working specifically to make Superman look bad in the eyes of the public, even though all he's ever done is good. He literally could rule the world and do whatever he wants, and he's just trying to be a good dude, you know? But I think that is what's at play. There are organizations, and now with supercomputers working, it's how are we ever going to organize? You can't defeat a system without organization, you know? It's an uphill battle. I think we win ultimately, but I think it's a tough one. That's all. Not to get too talented. We can get back into cryptids here. Let's talk any kind of cryptid paranormal you want.
Just while I remember, I've just sent you the first thing that Paul sent me about the Canadian guy. I'll send you all the rest later, but that's just the main detail of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah. I'll leave it with you for now. But so no, it's gone. Sorry.
Well, we got a question. You want to do a question?
Yeah, do that. We'll try and remember.
All right. So this one's from Sober Carper. Hey Ryan, what is your best Bigfoot/cryptid story?
Yeah, I've had a few in the day. Like, Bigfoot. We'll stick with Bigfoot if that's more what we're into. But I was just telling it at the Gatlinburg Smoky Mountain Bigfoot conference by Gather Up Events. Absolutely awesome. By the way, anybody that wants to go on a Bigfoot cruise, hit me up. Let me know. It is a really good time, especially if you've never been on a cruise. You'd love it. But I tell this one story because it was my first time, or at least the first time I remember working on finding Bigfoot. And we were out in remote Arizona. And I remember we're driving in, and it's dusk, early dusk, and as we're coming in, this herd of elk, and I have, like, you can watch stuff on TV, but you can't fathom the size of things for real until you stand before them. And this herd of elk come over, and no lie, they were bigger than, like, in my head, I'm thinking somebody should have told me they were this big. That is ridiculous. They look like dinosaurs. I mean, massive, like 10. I don't know, but they came up over the road and down an incline that was so vertical that you wouldn't, even if you dare me during the day, you're like, I'll give you $100. I'd be like, I don't think so. I'm going to hurt myself. Full sprint, the whole herd, full sprint down it. Just, you could just hear, na, 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 like, it was amazing. So we're pulling into this environment in a remote area of Arizona. Once again, people don't think there's enough space out there. There is more than enough space to hide whatever you want. And these animals live there. Dude, you could have a 20, 30 foot thing out there because these were big enough to sustain it. So anyway, we come in, we go down, we get out, It's a beautiful setting because you have these mesas that rise up like mile away, and just big flat top mesas. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about great trees and megaflora and fauna, you know, the world before the flood. I'm not going to get into that on you. But we're in the valley of this what was once a fertile valley. Now it's shrubs where it used to be giants. And the setup is, so mesa way up here, all this forest, and then there's a natural spring, which, because we're so remote, and if everyone's quiet or you step away from the group, you can just hear it bubbling. You can just hear it. It was really beautiful. Which, by the way, anybody wants advice on where to find the largest apex predators, whatever they are, relic hominids or not, find the springs. Find the purest source of water. Okay, so we're down below it, and the group, they're down there, and I can't believe I'm on the show. James Bobo Fay invited me to be on because it was a real grind. This is when they were trying to figure out how to actually do the show, so they were filming more than they needed to, and you know, personalities, trying to figure out who's in charge and all that. So he's like, "You got to come on, Ryan. You got to bring some of that positivity and light, but not too much of it. Don't piss me off, right?" I'm like, "Okay." So I'm up ahead, and they make a call. And it was awesome because that was like the first time I really got to hear my friend make this epic call out into the woods, you know. And for those of us that just love this, I wish I had like a Star Trek teleporter where I could warp you all in, and even a time machine attached to it, so we could all go there right now and go, boom, listen, and you could just be there, because it was heaven on earth for people like us, right? So he makes his call, and I'm up there like all geeked out, like, yeah, this is amazing, I can't believe it. And I'm standing there with this guy, Steve. Now, one of my only problems with shows, especially Hollywood-like shows, is that I think your vibration sets your ability to have more interactions, okay? And a lot of people just take it as a job, and they think it's stupid, and they just literally think it's stupid. They'll keep their mouth shut, but you can just tell from their energy that this is the dumbest thing they've ever heard of, but I'm going to collect my paycheck. So I'm with a guy who is that. That's his vibe. So it's me, literally hard nipples, just like, oh, this is going to be great. And him over there, like very soft nipple, just like, this is ridiculous. But he's the sound guy, so he's got the boom mic. And no lie, they make the call, and I'm just looking around like, oh, man, night's starting to come in, so it's starting to get dark now. And I hear from the top of the mesa what sounds like 2 or 3 things start charging down at us. Now, anyone that spent any time in the woods, nothing comes running at you. It doesn't. They may slowly move away. Things may gently come to you, but nothing sprints at you. And now, this is like woods and stones and fall. I mean, you don't sprint down this thing, but they're coming, and I can hear them. I'm like, is that 2? Is that 3? And I couldn't tell you, 2 or 3, but there was more than one, and it's coming. You hear the rock sliding, and you hear them, and I'm like, so I looked at it, and I remember this is like first time. I'm like, there is no way. Like, you want it to happen, you even expect it to happen, but then it happens, and you're like, nope, total denial. This is not happening. So I tapped Steve. And Steve like gives me this look. He used to wear this like bold trench coat. We call him Trench Coat Mafia. We were just like, I hope this guy doesn't lose his shit on us. And he turns, and I'm like, up there. And he's, you know, dark glasses on, just like whatever. Pulls him down, dude. He turns his mic, and it's the only time working with him where I saw his eyes go from indifference, you know, like, to owl wide. He could hear it, because he could hear it clear as day through the boom mic. And so now you have him and I standing there, and just seconds are ticking away like years, and it's getting closer and closer, and they're still shooting scene down below, so they're totally unaware, and they're like half a football field away, so to speak, and we've got about a half football field or a little bit more until the ridge line where the road kind of wraps up to the woods, and it's right. What were these things doing, right? This is why nature is so smart, but it speaks in subtlety. They were running straight at the spring, not to the sides, straight at the noise that could potentially mask them. But whatever this was, it wasn't trying to be masked. And it's coming, it's getting closer. Steve and I are leading forward, almost putting a hand around his shoulder, like, oh my God, we're going to bond forever. We're going to be the two that see this. And then, no lie, just when it gets to the end, but I will say this, it's that perfect time of day where the parabolia begins to take over and shadows are dancing, and you're like, and you're focusing so hard that you're like, is it? And then sliding stop, big old arm comes out of the darkness. Just one arm, like, whoa, you went a little too far, Steve. What are you doing, Steve? They're going to see you, Steve. And the arm comes out and tucks back. And I think I've been still holding my breath since that moment. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and then I watch his eyes shrink back down, glasses on, turns, goes back to work. And I'm left there like,
whoa.
Like, you know, And
Wow.
here's what I'll tell you about it, right? So I'm a believer. I want it to happen. I was in the right place for it to happen. Obviously, mega food source, super remote. We were out there because, you know, there have been stories of them out there. You immediately deny that it's real. Immediately. It didn't even matter if he was there or not. Immediately, you're like, no, I didn't see that. I couldn't have seen that. And it was so quick. Did I see it? You know, I almost want to be regressed and go back to like that moment to, did I really see it? And then the funny thing is then I go down to tell him, remember, it's your first time. So nobody likes it when your first time you knock it out of the park. Nobody likes that. That's what I've learned. That's across all life. Like, just anyone listening, you do a new job and your first day, you literally bat a home run. Don't tell anyone. They're not going to like it. I tried to explain to the whole crew, like, Bobo, I just saw one. I think I saw its arm. Like, they're right there. And he's like, yeah, of course you did. It's your first day. And Bobo loves me. He's wonderful. Yeah. He if anyone was going to believe me, but nobody bought it. And then we went up and around the trail. I left snacks right there for him, offerings, which is something you should do. And we can talk more about how to have encounters if you want. But nothing else happened. That was it the whole time. But yeah, so powerful. And I was like, this is the greatest job ever. You know, let's go. And weird stuff like that happened more often than not. And I will say that. So putting yourself in the right place and giving off the right vibe and frequency, which I think is a non-threatening, very open, I think that increases your chances very much. But, you know, who has time to travel anymore, especially to remote areas?
Yeah.
So going out, like, I do the ghost hunting thing. So they say not to go out when you're not in the right mindset because it leaves you open to stuff and, you know, all of that. Is Bigfoot hunting the same kind of thing?
If you're speaking from like a way to protect yourself because you'll be vulnerable in a haunted area, then no, I think it's completely different things. I think my personal belief is if you can eliminate all fear, right? So say I'm an intelligent species in the woods. I can smell you. I can smell your fear. I can see it on you. I can see the shaking. I can see that you're nervous. You're not moving. Your gait is not confident. Why would I approach you? I scare the shit out of you. Why would I do that? Right? Respect. And maybe that same thing is in a haunted house or in any kind of paranormal thing. Like, if I am a ghost from the other side and I see you and I do want to communicate, but I can tell that you're doing it, but you're not doing it yet. You're just there because, oh, I want this, but no, you don't. Yeah. Why would I approach you? Why would I scare you? Unless I was a jerk. If I'm a poltergeist, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this. But no, I think we can get into that if you want about ghosts and stuff. I don't mean to wreck people's lives with it, but I had an epiphany in that. And ever since, I've become a cooler in those spaces where it just doesn't happen anymore. And if it does, I explain what I believe is happening, and then it's just quiet. So I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm right now, that's my theory, and I think it's right until someone disproves that as well. So
what are your theories about ghosts and everything?
Intrigued.
Very, very
intrigued.
Okay, so there was an English gentleman named Patrick Jackson. He wrote a book called Quantum Paranormal. Okay. What I would say to your audience and to anyone is, what do you want more? Do you want experiences or do you want the truth? Because you can have experiences. But I believe personally you should hold truth above all things, because if you always keep that as I'm always going for truth, it'll just do one thing that I think is so paramount in science or in life in general, which is it will give you the open mind. Because if the mind stays open, then you can get to the heart. And if you can get to the heart, you can stay in love, but you can be in love with the truth, which will get you to your gut, which will tell you the truth. So my brother had a podcast called Cosmic Cantina. It was super awesome. And I would listen to him, and, you know, they had all sorts of amazing guests, but they don't resonate, right? It's like, why do some people like pop to you? And when I heard this guy talk, I was like, that's it. He figured it out. See, people don't want like one answer for everything. And I believe what he's discovered literally, now I'm not saying there aren't relic hominids in the woods, but most of the time this is what you're dealing with. It's not relic hominids. Not saying there aren't ghosts, but almost every time this is what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with ghosts, sea monsters, aerial phenomenon, everything. It's one thing to rule them all, and once again it makes it super simple. So What he's discovered is something you've all heard of: Foo Fighters, right? Foo Fighters, spheres, orbs. The one thing people see more than anything, but once again, it's not a big, sexy mothership. It's not a 10-foot tall, hairy man beast walking in the woods. It's not the ghost from the start of Ghostbusters, that scares the piss out of you. But man, I'm going back to that library next week. It's not that. It's, once again, it's nature. It's subtle. It's meant to blend. It's meant not to interfere with your free will and your experience here on this earth. So it's a monitoring system. That's all it is. Right now, presently, we have drone technology that if you set it off over any small town and just didn't tell the people, they would think God returned. They would think aliens were attacking. They would think anything. For those of you curious, go watch any of the drone shows in Dubai right now. I always just go. That's where they're just throwing money at things over there. So, from weather manipulation to drone, but see what they can do. See what they're capable of. They've already been using it in the United States. I'm just going to wink and say there's some big things that have happened here where they used it, and the majority of us fell for it. But that is what you're interacting with. These things, my brother, you may have heard of this. He is at the forefront of disclosure when it comes to the Boogosphere, which is the biggest thing right now in the UFO space. He went there, he held it, he touched it. That is exactly what Patrick talked about in his book. He has another book coming out, it's like the Sphere Network or whatever. But in the simplest way to explain it to you, whether you like to hear this theory or not, we live in a game preserve. And we may be all fancy and wear fancy clothes and talk about fancy things and sip mocha lattes, but you're just an animal. You are just a beautiful, pretty animal, but you're an animal. And you're being monitored. And these things, this network that just like satellites or, just a monitoring system, it records and keeps track of all the DNA on this planet. And if you were these things, where would you hide? You would hide in abandoned buildings. You would hide in swamps, in graveyards, which graveyards are basically a DNA pit. You would be keeping the collective history of this world for whomever or whatever God is. And sometimes you interact. They also have the capability by moving with a field-based propulsion system and also to use projection. So let's go back to when you asked, do these Bigfoot cloak? My real answer is if they're not using their own skills to mess your vision up, what happens is these things intercept. So it's walking through the woods. You happen to be there at the same time, which is a huge coincidence. This thing comes in, intercepts, and boom. We already have the technology to put up cloaking, right? You know what cloaking is. Our government has that. We don't in the public sector, maybe a few rich people, but that's it. But we have that technology. It just comes in, throws up a projection. It can change the noise, the environment. It can create feelings in with you, like you feel you're being watched and suddenly you're like, I got to get out of here. But all it's doing in the haunted house, when you see a demon, when you feel this crazy presence, and this is what gave me peace, is it's moving you away so that it can broadcast. We know there's like 6 different types of radiation, but the theory is there are more, and whatever these things emit is another level of radiation which is not beneficial to humans. Spontaneous human combustion, that kind of weird stuff. I think people got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it can be very deadly to us. So when you're in a haunted house and you're scared to death, switch your train of thought. It's not a demon coming at you. It is technology pushing you away so that it can simply broadcast the latest notes it took on the house and the people in it. It's that simple. And I don't know, but that clicked with me. And ever since, I just go in, I say, listen, I know that I'm dealing with advanced ancient technology that's here to monitor. And if you need me to leave, just open the door and I'll walk out. If not, then I'm here to have some fun. I'm just a visitor. I mean it with the greatest respect, but I will respect you if you respect me. And then basically nothing since then. So I'm not saying it won't, and I'm hoping things still come up. I want to test the theory, but when things are right, the hair stands up on my arm and I get goosebumps. That's when I know my gut is triggered, and it's like, you're right, Ryan, or maybe it's my ancestors, maybe it's God, maybe whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever your verbiage is, it's fine. But I'm going back to my instincts and my gut, and ever since that day, my whole world has changed. So yeah, I think it's what do they call it? A panacea, one thing that covers all things. Anyway,
when you go into places and like you're doing an EVP session, or you have stuff going on with like REM pods and all that, like would you say that's interacting with this surveillance state, and that's where the answers are coming from?
Yep. What you need to do is you need to get anything that can pick up on static electricity. They have a field-based propulsion system. We know very little, but field-based propulsion, which gives off a static charge. So I can't remember the tech right now, which I think REM pods pick up on that, right? But you'll know when they come in.
There's different things we have that
Sure.
static.
But just all I would ask in your research now, and I know most of us, because I was forever, it's ghosts, it's demons, it's, you know, all these different things. Just include that. Just, okay, it could be a surveillance system in your thought process when you go in, and you're going to start to notice when they come in and they check up on you, because they will come in, especially when you use like atomic light and different types of things that shouldn't be in the house, you know, like shouldn't be there. And you'll also notice in certain haunted houses, one will be active and then suddenly it won't be active anymore. It could be active for 20 years, could be active for a year or 5 months, and then it changes. It's because the grid switches, and it doesn't want to be discovered. Like the old tunnels underground, like drainage tunnel, all these places where people are having these crazy experiences, it's because that's where they hide, in old wells, you know what I mean? In the woods, in these weird places. So yeah, I would, it's gonna trip you out, because you're gonna start to notice that, and it usually happens really quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people like ghost hunting, but not convinced that it's like deceased people. It's like, what it is, I don't know. All I know is we're getting something.
How many people die a day? If you do the math, we should be swimming in dead bodies. There should be a ghost just getting ectoplasm on my face right now. Just ghost facials all day. and that's not happening. Why do you go to a French castle, and if you're English, it'll say to you in English, get out? Why? Like, why? Or why do people go and see the same thing over and over and over again in the same house? Is it the same ghost communicating, or is it a technology loop? Remember, technology malfunctions. I think if you're lucky, you're in a place where it's malfunctioning and you get to interact and have fun with it.
Yeah. I've got two things to add to that. So when was it Gettysburg? Ron and Lardes were doing a thing called the digital seance experiment. Is that correct? Okay.
Experience, but yes.
Experience. So they're doing it and it's live, and they use white noise and they filter all the sound. There's no receptors or anything like that, and it's like happening as you're there. So we'd been in the room 15, 20 minutes. It said something. You could hear this man and this woman. They're like talking but arguing. You couldn't make out everything that they were saying. And then they said English, and then they said my name twice. I'm like, not doing me. But for that to happen, and it didn't pick. It picked somebody else's name out, but it kept picking mine out. And then the next night, it did the same again. Yeah. But so that was just mind blowing, because it's one of those things that you have to be there to experience it to understand what's going on and how it works. Sure. So it just sounds like a lot of gibberish going on, but then it'll throw out certain words or certain phrases, and it kept doing it. Now something happened. I don't know if you know of any accounts of this. I've not really looked into it since it happened. I'm not going to go too deep, because you have promised somebody else that I'll give him the exclusive on their podcast.
So now Andy's going to tell you something without actually telling you, but giving you as much detail as possible.
I will give you the full detail, but I'm not going to tell you what it was. So
you're a tease.
So on my flight home, the plane was probably 3/4 full. So the bunch us all together. There's 4 in a row, and the stewardess comes over and goes, "You all look a bit cramped there. All these seats are empty. Just go and spread yourselves out and sit wherever you want." Sure. So we all we got a row each. So it's like we're all in the middle section of the plane. So you got 3, 4, and 3. So I'm on the edge of the 4, and it's like right near the toilet, because I've been drinking a lot of liquid, so it was easy just to get up off that seat and go, which was a good thing. Too much information, but I went about 4 or 5 times.
He means going party.
Just for a wee. There's no trees, trees about, so I had to use the lav. So I'm sat about 3 rows away from where the toilet is, and you've got the kitchen bit in the middle where they bring all the food from. So that was next to it. So it was probably about solid rows. It'd be about 5. So I'm probably 12, 15 foot away. And I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I was like, "Oh!" I made this stupid noise as I woke up, because something was attracting my attention.
Okay.
And I'm looking at this thing, and I can't remember if I rubbed my eyes or squinted or blinked. You get the floaters in your eyes and what have you.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if it was that or I was still dreaming. Anyway, I have told a couple of people in the chat about this, but I know they won't say anything. And I'm sat there and I'm staring at this thing, and it's about, I'd say about 6 foot high, right outside the toilet door, and it was a specific shape of specific things, and it was just there.
Okay.
No noise, and I'm no noise coming from it.
Yep.
And I'm just sat staring at it like, I don't know anyone who's ever experienced anything like this. I can tell you off air afterwards.
Sure.
But I don't want to give it out just yet. I want to do this podcast and then I'll talk about it openly.
Sure.
It made no sense. But with what you've just been saying, it's kind of like I've been thinking about it for the last 3-4 days. What day are we on? Monday. Since it happened today, so about 3 days. And it's just it still doesn't make any sense as to what it was and why it was there. The 41,000 feet, and it's just there. And so all the other people, like I said, we all had full row each. Sure. And everyone pretty much put all the armrests up and made a bed, and you get the 3 pillow and cover.
Yep.
They were there all like, it's like sort of YMCA. Like some sort of hostel, but on a plane.
Sure.
So everyone else is laid down. There's nobody walking up and down the aisle, and I'm just sat there staring. Probably lasted maybe a minute, 30 seconds to a minute.
Wow, it's long. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. In fact, while I'm talking about it, I'll send you an image of what I've had to AI it, but this is pretty much what I've seen.
Where are you sending this, by the way? Because I haven't seen. Is it in the comments? But like private?
No,
comments?
I'm gonna send it on Messenger.
Oh, comments. Hey, I want to thank everyone for listening and wonderful. And I would look at that more and see what people are saying, but I'm so easily distracted by things that I would get lost. Thank you for the Panacea, which is a cure-all, which is kind of what I'm going for. It's like a one fix for everything. But maybe there's a better word, and if anyone can come with it, it's great. And I would love to break down without talking about what you actually saw, but your experience and why I believe you were able to have it, if that's okay.
Yeah. So can you see? I've sent 3 images. They're the best it can get.
So what did you send them through?
I've sent them on Messenger. I can send them on.
Oh no, I'll turn my phone on. I also turn my phone
on. Oh,
off.
sorry to be a pain. But It's just if you picture them 3 images and kind of like mix them together, you'll get a better thing of understanding without me giving too much away.
Okay, that's okay. I love a good.
I do apologize. But I was just but I'm just sat there and it's like, how can this be happening at like 3-4 miles up in the sky?
Oh wow, that's okay. Well, there's your sign. There's your sign.
And each one of them was about a centimeter. They were all the same size.
Yep.
And you can see the difference between each one.
Yeah.
And it's probably about 2 foot in length, because I'm looking at it respectively.
Yeah.
Probably about 1 foot in depth and about 8 to 10 inches in height. And it was just there, and I'm like, what the
Yeah. It's awesome.
If you've got
well, here's a
I don't know.
Well, let's break down some stuff that we do know, right? It's all about the buildup and then what happens after. So what I know so far about you that you've alluded to was you were exhausted, right? You just came back from this amazing trip where not only were you exhausted, but you were wide open to these possibilities. Basically, your receiver was set to, I love it all. Okay. Then, right. So then you just woken up. So you are still in maybe some kind of theta state, or you're basically like zoned out. There's also the light radioactivity of the plane itself, traveling at that speed, the hum of the plane, which is low frequency infrasound. You are in a very unique position to be tuned just enough to potentially, in my opinion, once again, all speculation, have a genuine experience or something truly unique like that. Do you suffer from migraines at all? Do you have headaches?
I have been having headaches about 3 days before and a couple of days after. I think that was due. I normally we call them thunder headaches. So whenever there's a storm, I'll get a headache a few hours beforehand. Me and my gran used to get them at the same time. So if we both had them, 100% definite, there's going to be a thunderstorm.
So your electrical system in your own body, your bioelectrical field, was already, I don't want to say on the fritz, but it was definitely dealing with some stuff, right? You needed time to rest and heal. So, but the beauty of it is like I would say to people, you want a haunted experience, or you want to see Bigfoot, or you want any of this, you fast, and then you go into the woods. You fast, then you go into a haunted. No, it's amazing. And not only do you fast, stay awake for 24 hours, 48 hours, and then go ghost hunt. You come back and you tell me it doesn't make a difference. See, the thing is we all want it easy, right? But like real experiences, you got to earn them. And you unknowingly, in my very humble opinion, had set yourself up to have something, which, by the way, is so cool. And I can't wait for you to share it with people.
At that point, I'd not eaten for around about, we went for dinner just before Anthony picked me up and took me to New York. It was around about 3 p.m. EST.
Yep.
So with the time difference of the UK, because I was halfway across the Atlantic, I reckon it was anything between, I'd say, 25 to 30 hours that I'd not eaten for. I'd had a drink, I had a cool out at the airport. Sorry?
You didn't get your pizza?
No, I got one yesterday when I got home. I've had New York pizza before and it was so good, and but anyway, I'd not ate for around about 25-30 hours. I would only had that meal in the Lark, the pub, and I'd only had, is it chicken wings or something? I don't even know. I can't even remember what I had. It was like a small portion.
Yep.
So we wasn't eating a lot. We was having breakfast, then like a snack or a lunch in an Irish bar literally every day. That did me head in, but anyway. And so we was just having that. And then we was out and we was meeting everyone and like the paranormal investigators, and like it was in Bridgewater with Daniel. It was like that. But it was like 2 hotels, and it was just it was constant. So, but then when I'm sat there watching it and I'm staring at it, it then just closed in on itself into nothing. And then it was gone. I'm like, did that just happen? I don't know. But it did, because it's a memory. It's not anything else. And I know I was awake because I was touching the seat and the wires. I had my headphones on because I had it plugged into the thing, but I had nothing. The movie that I was watching had finished by then. And it's like I said, I just sat staring at this thing going on.
This is my favorite game. Andy trying not to say the thing.
And it was just, wow, did that just happen?
So one thing that happened to me when I've only had migraines once in my life, and I had all 9. Apparently there's 9 kinds you can get, and they were all firing at the same time. And one eye was completely normal, and the other eye saw a techno, hyper vibrant, DMT colored universe. It's just like Tron, and then I'd have to close it, and this one's fine. But in that, whatever was going on with me in my brain and the electricity in my body, I saw things similar to that. That's all I can tell you. It wasn't, I know that's just a rough interpretation of what you saw. It wasn't perfect like that by any means. It was more bleeding of everything together, but I saw colors like that, colors put together, colors and shapes, colors, and it was, I wish I could have put a camera on my eye and filmed what I was seeing. But that happened when I was having some kind of a breakdown. I'm not saying you had one, but maybe you very lightly, we're going into a very light, or one of the 9, where I would start was, I would say maybe it's one of the 9 stages of a migraine. And I would start your research there and just see, what do people see when they see this? What do they see? Because maybe that's what it was. And if it wasn't that, cut that off, move on to the next part of the list, until you get to the point where you're like, yeah, it was paranormal. Yeah, aliens were watching me. Yeah, no, whatever you want, right? But but as citizen scientists, I think it's our job to try and look at the whole picture and go, okay, let's start checking off these things before I just settle into, guys, guess what happened?
Well, what made it weird was that there was nobody walking about. So literally, it's like a 6-hour flight, and everyone was up and down, going to the bathroom, going to different seats, getting stuff out of the luggage. But this particular point, everything just seemed to like stop.
Yeah. So
and I don't know. I don't know what it was.
People like to talk a lot about like followers and stuff, and you go to a place and you say a prayer, and then you close it afterwards and you say, don't follow me. And honestly, I think it's if we are being, if it is surveillance, it's not meant to interact with us. And I think it has very basic programming that when you say, leave me alone, it leaves you alone, because it's not meant to. It's meant to observe you, but not mess with you. So when people have followers, I think it's as simple as the network saying, okay, this guy was just in this spot, and he may have learned something that he shouldn't have, or may have seen something. He's probably going to talk about it. We've already got a minor alert on him because he's got this beautiful podcast with an amazing co-host. And so let's follow him. So it just jumps spheres across the grid. And we know that there's layers. There's the ones on the ground that are mostly the ones we interact with. They're the smallest ones. And then as you get up, they get bigger and more complicated. So you at flying in the sky may have just tuned in to look at you. And because you were in that right state, you actually got to see some version of it, which is really fascinating. It's wild. I wish you could redo the experiment, but like, how do you redo that experiment?
I know. Take weeks. Right. But it's like I was kind of asking in my mind as well for me to experience something, whether it was in the US or even see something out the window. But everyone shut the blinds on the plane. We just sat in a dark room. So, like, great.
You should have just yelled at them, be like, excuse me, I'm trying to see UFOs up here.
You sure that would have gone down well?
Hey, I want to say, too, baby with a laser, thank you very much for that tip. That was a very scary part of my life. And to anyone that has migraines, I just want you to know you are the toughest, most badass people on the planet. My heart goes out to you, because I couldn't do it. It was like 2-3 weeks. Yeah. So thank you very much for that insight, because if it ever comes back, I would need help. And also, Jason, my heart goes out to you too. Looks like you're dealing with some stuff. So big love for you, bud. Stay positive.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just felt I had to share that because it's been eating at me, and I'm like, with you saying that, it's like, right, you're going to be the go-to person.
I know, you're not good at secrets.
And I'm not.
Well, there shouldn't be any, right?
That day.
It's not a secret. I've told probably about 5 people, including yourself. So,
well, I can tell you another thing that happened to me. Oh, actually, I can't. Daniel will kill me because it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah,
I can't.
NDAs and exclusivity deals.
No, I think Daniel's watching because it come up mythical. I'll scroll all the way back.
Let's just, I will try to pull my best, Andy, and I'm so sorry to the audience that we can't speak in detail, but I was in a place where I was very cold, and I was on English time now as opposed to American time, and I was tired and a bit run down, but I also, to expedite that process, I went into a meditative state. So I practiced getting like, and it just gets you there a little faster. There's a few ways you can do it: psilocybin, meditation, starvation, lack of sleep. And I had a vision of sorts like this, not with the color. This was more outline. And I'd never had anything like that in my life. And it truly wowed me, because I'd never had anything like that in my life. I've never seen anything like that. And it just stared at me. It was just, so for those of you, Daniel, if you're watching, it's called Legend Seekers. And I believe it's going to be episode 1. So look out for that. But just, I bared witness to something that was truly interesting. And I would say, I now believe that's what people see, or possibly what they're seeing when they see phantoms out on the moors or in the woods and stuff, and they had this kind of like, it's almost like a hologram kind of, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And as the man I am now, armed with this knowledge that I think most of the time is just technology malfunctioning near you, or literally trying to be like, dude, back up. I'm about to broadcast. I want to fry your brains. I'm less scared. And I go back to what I said before, the less fear you have, the more inclined any other species would be to communicate with you, right? Because it's not going to give you a heart attack. And I saw something, and it was beautiful. And yeah, so can't wait to share that with everyone.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Hi, Daniel, if you're watching.
Yeah. Don't hate me, Danny.
He's an awesome man. We've had him on, and it's fascinating.
Mythical Legends Podcast and Expedition.
That's right.
That's Daniel, yeah. So he's still in the chat. It's coming up with his name, so it's all good.
Okay.
But yeah, so that I seen, it was, you could, like, if I'd have stretched out, I'd have been able to put my hand into it.
Why didn't
you?
Because I didn't know what was going on.
Poke it.
It was like, I mean, it was just
strange, that stuff, like, you know.
But I looked at it and I knew straight away what I was looking at. The word came into my head, and I'm like, I don't know if it was manifesting into something, or it could only show me that that's what it was in the realm that we was in at that time.
What if you were flying like through something?
Yeah, that could have been.
And you had to like rearrange its guts because you were all like flying right through it.
Could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been. I don't know. All the blinds we shut. I couldn't see. But yeah, that was that.
So if you want the whole story, what do you have to watch to get the whole story on that one?
So I'm going to be going on Michelle Liddell's podcast. I should know the name of it. I don't know the name of it. I can only just remember the name of it.
Stories or something?
Shell's
spooky. Phone died as normal. Watching on TV. Hey guys, FYI, you can say about it, Ryan. Don't get yourself fired.
I did. I said what I needed to. Legend Seekers, season 1.
There you go. You can say about it. Yeah, that's good. So it's going to be on Shell's Spooky Stories. So we're going to be recording that at some point over the next few days.
Cool.
Who was whistling?
My office is right on the main
siren.
Street.
Oh, okay. All right.
So occasionally,
now I hear it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But it sounded like just the whistle at first. I was like,
Yeah. It's we have a beautiful view of downtown. Where I live is called Newport Richey, and it was in the 20s. They were trying to make it the Hollywood of the East Coast, and it's where a lot of the film stars would come in winter, at least. And so it's just cool. It's got a lot of old character, and we're in the oldest, most haunted building in Newport Richey, which is really cool. And when we first moved in, like, things would move, like pictures would fall off the walls and stuff. And to be honest, we haven't had anything in a while, but like the guy down in the office down at the way, he's like, listen, don't think I'm weird, but look what's on my computer. And he had what all you could say was like ectoplasm kept showing up on his keyboard. And I was like, are you sure that's ectoplasm? He's like, dude, this is my work. This is my work computer. I'm like, okay. He's like, I haven't touched it since then, so there's something going on here. But he had that. So there has definitely been, and there's an old man that's seen at the top of the stairwell. And sometimes you'll hear doors opening and closing. So once again, not sure what all that is, but I think I have an idea. And it's exciting, though. I love that we're in the most haunted building in Newport Richey.
Wow.
That's cool. Do you think that the activity and everything has slowed down now that they realize, this isn't a good place to hang out, they're not leaving?
I think so. Why is it the magic hour, right? Like, and once again, go to the simplest possible answer. I see you out there, Daniel. Love you, bud. It was on Dartmoor where I had this experience. It was super cool. We can go back to it if you guys want. So the witching hour, whatever, the later in the night, honestly, not until you get till 3 to like 5 in the morning, although a lot of people think it happens just after midnight. Just logically, what time of night is that? That is the time of night when the majority of us are not awake. We are not aware. We are not going to walk into the kitchen where it's broadcasting and build a sandwich normally. So the majority of the time, we're safe, because if it's in the attic or if it's in the basement, it just moves up just above the roof, broadcast, comes right back down. But it doesn't want to go near you. It doesn't want you to hear it. It doesn't want, go back to free will. We have this free will. So yeah, I think this is old, right? And all technology malfunctions. So that's why you have these glitches where you hear things, or, you know, when you hear the doors opening, you hear like there's a party downstairs. It's literally, it's like you tuned into the TV channel and all of a sudden you hear what happened 20, 30, 50, 120, you know, years ago. And you're just hearing it for a second. It's confusing. Why are they speaking Old English, you know? But it is literally just a broadcast. It's just an old school recording of something that happened before. And yeah, so I don't think they leave. I think the grid is more rigid, and then when it does shift, that's all part of like a basic pattern. That's why you will have houses that are very active, and people eventually are like, you know, we got to leave. But you also have areas of land that are very active. You know, we like to isolate it to a house, but it also tends to be an area. There are ley lines and energy grids in this world where these things are more active. I don't think we've been given the proper education on how this world truly works. And if you happen to be closer to these nodes, or I guess, look at the Earth like a giant computer board, which we're familiar with. I think it works that way. And in some places, the frequency is a lot stronger. And depending on the type of person you are, some people are much more adept or skilled at picking up on that frequency. So it affects them more. But anyway, we could get crazy deep dive into all of it. At the end of the day, I think you're all safe. I think it's okay. And if something tells you to get out, I think it's very simple. Just get out. Like, you know, don't overthink it. And if it's a really strong case to get out, then they're just broadcasting more data, and you should just listen, you know, instead of fighting against it or raging against it. But, you know, that's my 2 cents. I've never been kicked out of my own home. So yeah.
Right. So, like, you watch all the horror movies and you're like, all this stuff is happening. Why are you still there?
Yes. But I think the horror movie's main purpose, besides artists like ourselves, you know, creating stuff for fun and creating a living around it, is literally to misdirect you from what it actually is, to make you so scared that you live in a horror movie. I want people to know this, and I'm sorry if it like takes away from some of your joy with ghosts. Remember, I'm not saying ghosts aren't real. They could totally be real. Once again, these are just theories, speculation. But do not be afraid in that house. Whatever is there that's trying to communicate, it's either malfunctioning, so it literally isn't even trying to communicating, it's just like bumping into walls and like accidentally triggering things, or it's just trying to warn you to be safe. So see it more as a guardian angel instead of a demon. And I wish that for people, because I've met a lot of people that live scared. They like, it freaks them out, and there's like problems with it, you know. And you'll notice, do a little deep dive on highly violent, highly dangerous areas. They seem to be more intense, right? Why? Because they're trying to keep you safe. I think they a little bit guardian as well, a little bit protector, you know. But anyway, you've got enough info to dive on it and see what you think. And if anyone figures it out, let me know. I would love to hear, like, open source all the way. Open source all the way. That's the way we're going to get to the answers the fastest.
But if you find out, don't tell Andy, because he doesn't want to know.
Yeah. I do and I don't. We'll get to that question in a minute. Right. I've got a question for you. It's more of a request.
Okay.
Can you do your Bigfoot whoop?
I can't do the call in this building. He
does a whoop and it goes on for about 5 days solid.
Yeah,
it is so good.
I don't know what the record is. I'm sure there's somebody out there that could top me. But as of right now, I can go over 30 seconds of just sustained call, and it's fun. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, am I a big enough male to do a roar that will have such power with it that it'll make your legs vibrate? No, I don't know anyone, and I've met some big dudes that are big enough to do that. We're not Bigfoot big, but can I do a sustained call that's long enough to where if I was another intelligent being, I'd be like, damn, who's that guy out there in the woods? Like, that's kind of cool. Come check it out. So when you're doing your research, my thing to everyone is like, have fun, like, play, fight, flight, 37 seconds of what? Oh, 30. So that's how long I was.
Daniel's timed you.
That's it. 37 seconds.
And we'll
Wow.
just say we'll say that's my record as of now. So I challenge people, like, remember, fight, flight, freeze. Those are like survival, but then there's play. Play is where we learn. Play is where life becomes fun again, where we engage in this Eden. So play and practice it. And if you can beat me, send me the clip saying, bring it. Your turn now. That's the way we should be.
Like a Bigfoot calling contest? I know they have those at some of the conventions.
Oh, I was just in the West Virginia one, and I watch them all. Listen, I'm an athlete. I am very competitive, but I'm older now, so I'm like cool. But I love whooping people's butts, and I watch. I even walk up to the stage and like wave, hoping they're going to be like, "Hey, get on up here and do it." But I would never put myself there because no one's going to compete against that. No one. The only one's going to beat it is the cute little kid that's like, "Woo!" That would be. Or the little old lady that screeches so loud, you're like, that was amazing. But no, ain't nobody gonna, no, nobody does it like that. I'm just, yeah. So no, I don't enter the competitions because that's not about me,
Yeah. No, thank you.
Oh, sorry, I can't do it. I
did have a feeling that you.
It's a good owl.
No, dude.
Yeah.
I did have a feeling you won't be able to do it because you said you're in the studio office, so.
People wonder what the heck's going on. That's for sure. You're knocking on the door. You all right in there? You okay? Like, maybe you need a little more fiber in your diet. I'd be like,
yeah.
You'll have the cops knocking on your door, like, we heard there was a disturbance.
Yes, I would still be going at that point. Just, 1 more minute.
Yeah, it's all right. It's just a Bigfoot. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh. Right. So, jumping back again. So Daniel has said you are free to tell everyone about it if you want to.
Bro.
Yeah. Okay.
The bro part.
All right. Okay. So
remembering.
Yeah. If that's all right. So basically, what was really interesting is, so I'm sitting on a rock, and we're just outside of. It's crazy that it's like rainforest there in Dartmoor, like an old primordial type of forest, which blows my mind. And why would they leave this one little track of trees, Wisman's Woods? Why is that left, right? What's under the ground? Was it truly too rocky? Well, I'm sorry, all the ground's rocky there. They could have moved it, but they left this. So anyway, really neat. I'm sitting on the outside of it because they have that, what is it called? It's horsehair lichen, I believe, which is endangered or protected. So you can't, you can't enter it anymore. So I'm just on the outside of it on a rock near this cool tree. And like I said, it was too cold. I took out dowsing rods and I was trying to do that, but it was windy too. And I was like, okay, I can't do this. And I just began to meditate. And the beauty thing about meditating is I would never say I'm that great at it, but at some point, if you just do it long enough, boom, you're kind of gone in a weird way. It's almost like you enter a different kind of state of being. I don't know. It's really cool. But I was there. And then all of a sudden, just like right in front of me, just like what you were talking about, which is interesting, but different. I'm not going to say what you saw, but was an outline. And it was like real skin. And it was, the movie Predator. So just take the image of the predator, but get rid of everything in the middle. Just keep the outline. So if you're just looking around and glancing and talking and, thinking the way, you would never notice it. But since I was sitting perfectly still and it was 10 feet away or less, all of a sudden I was like, just like you. But now I'd started with my eyes closed and I saw, or it was either my eyes open or eyes closed, but I kept opening and closing. And it was there with them open and it was there with them closed. And that was so weird to me. And it was perfect. It was this, it came up thin legs, thin arms, thin neck, but this big head, kind of like what Crowley saw, like just looked very gray alien to me, but even more of a head, larger, like a Brainiac or something like that. And I'm just staring at it and it's just staring at me. I'm like, that's really weird. And however long it went on for, who knows, right? Too hard to check your phone out there and everything. Well, it just kind of fades away eventually. But I swear it was staring at, and I kept thinking like it was doing something with its hand, like it was trying to hand me something or point at me, or I don't know. I could barely make it out. Like I said, this was all at the very edge of my concentration and my abilities. And then this, the only way to describe it's like a specter, which I'd never seen anything like this, is walking just on the edge of Wisman Wood, just walking, not looking at me, not paying any attention to me, just en route to somewhere. And we had communicated with somebody else who had, we had met at the pub, who had described this experience with these people that looked like workers. They didn't look alien. They looked like they had kind of like, not like a Star Trek suit, but some kind of cross between that and an astronaut kind of thing, but no helmet, just like a normal shaped human head. But like en route, like he was late. I'm late for a very important date. And he's just striding by, and I'm watching him, and I'm doing the same thing again. I'm closing my eyes. There he is. I'm opening my eyes. There he is. I'm closing, opening, closing, opening. And it just crosses until it crosses out and just kind of vanishes again. And I remember just sitting there thinking to myself, like, this is phantoms to me. You know, like Dartmoor has so many amazing like legends and crazy things, from golden frogs to giants to the devil to phantoms, phantom carriages, phantom. And as a believer in a sphere network that monitors us, you know, my first instinct is that I saw a holographic image because of my meditative state and, you know, hungry, cold, all that. Like, it got me close enough to where I could barely see an image that it has stored in its memory, whatever. Or my visible spectrum broadened just enough to see some worker, somebody working who works out in Wistman's Woods, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm late to work," because there was urgency in the movement. And then the being that was standing before me, that was just like, it was just staring at me, and I wasn't scared. And I that's why I, as much as I know that I might upset people who are just diehard ghost believers and whatnot. Remember, I'm not saying they're not real, but I wanted peace. I grew up in haunted houses. I grew up with all my aunts who have radical gifts, who fight them all and don't want anything to do with it. They're so scared. Well, that's passed down to the next generation, and is great. And that's kind of what's encouraged me to be who I am, right? To go into the haunted house, to go look for big. So I appreciate that from them, but they also have cursed me with having this fear that bubbles underneath, right? And when I was standing there looking at this thing, the old me would have been like, and it would have ended. You know, basically, I would have been, but it didn't. I was curious. I wanted to play. And so that's why I share it with people, because if we can lose that, I mean, what's going to happen? If something is truly powerful and super evil, whatever, I can't fight that. It's going to kill me anyway. It's going to take me anyway. But that never happens. It never happens. It's always you. You're the bully. You're the monster. You're the demon, right? So if I can eliminate that, and I did, and I sat there and I looked at this thing, I got to bear witness to something that I've never had. And I think it all stems from the fact that I was ready, because I'd moved just far enough beyond my fear. And if I moved farther, I bet you it would have been full body, like, hey, I'm trying to shake your hand, you idiot. You know, like, you're so afraid, right? So yeah, it was beautiful. And now what happened? People will say, don't go alone, right? I think the greatest thing you can ever do for yourself, once a year, go camping alone. Once a year, go into the haunted house alone. Go in, and don't go to have an experience. Go in to check in on yourself and see if you're truly ready to be the hero that you can be. Because odds are you're not, or at least I'm not. You know, and I pray for you all to be braver than me. But that's a way to find out, and that's a way to train. So do it. Yeah.
Yep. No, totally get that. Right, we have the question. I'll let Nicole ask it.
I'm going to ask it because Andy tries to sway.
I do not.
With his question.
So we went for a meal on the Sunday, and all the full moon, or most of full moon paranormal were there, and a few others. And he asked the question. So there was 7 of us in total, was it?
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah.
And I got a fair few on my side. I think more on my side than you got on yours. So I was happy.
Okay, well, I'm curious.
Question. If you could know everything about the paranormal, cryptids, Bigfoot, you know, the spheres, like everything. Yeah. Would you want to know?
Oh, would I want the answers?
Would you want all of the answers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to be the keeper of that. I think maybe in a few years I'd be really ready for that. But why? Yeah, I remember my main goal is to move beyond fear. The movies that make us afraid because they're so good and so well done. My aunts who put it in my head that it's got to be evil. It can't be. Yeah, even though the ship captain that appears at the end of your bed, all he ever did was smile at you and walk out of the room. Never did anything creepy. But it's just creepy that he was there. Like,
a little creepy that he's there.
Yeah, a little creepy.
Smiling.
Yeah. Well, hell, chip a day to you, off to the whaling ships, and he walks out. Yes, because I don't want to be afraid. And if I could give that to my babies and my friends and the people that seek wisdom from me, then I could get them beyond that hump faster. And who knows what lies beyond there? Who knows how amazing this world truly is?
See, and this is where he goes, but there's no fun.
No.
There's no excitement anymore.
Once you know everything, there's no investigating anymore because you've got all the answers.
I would disagree. I would say you still have to go find, just because let's say, hey, I know what Loch Ness is now, okay? That I still have to go find it. I don't know where it. Are you saying that I know exactly where it is at all times? I know exactly where the goat, like I know everything, or I just know that it's real or not?
No, you everything.
So I'm omniscient. I'm God. You're basically saying, do you want to be God? Or God? Do you want all knowledge of what the paranormal is, what the connections are, why it's happening, what it's about? Yes. So I would say yes, and I'll extrapolate upon it, because then I would use that to build such wealth that I would be able to guide people into these things in a protective way where I know they would be safe and they could have the experiences they wanted without any threat of violence or death or anything, because I would understand what's happening. Yes, I would no longer have that joy, but I have moved beyond, I guess, that egotistical kind of selfish version of myself to where I realize that what I'm here to do, you'll hear it resonate. Like, I'm here to serve everyone. Like, I want to protect you. I wish you less fear than me. I wish you more experience than me. I wish you more success than me. And yes, I would take that power to help. Yes, that is why I would do it. Yeah, but I understand how it would take away my own personal joy in the space in terms of that unknowing and that wonder. Yes, I get that. Yeah. But small price to pay to be the god of paranormal.
But there's a different kind of excitement. It's okay, now you know what, you have to find why. You have to go
sure.
You know that, this remote species exists in the wilderness, but now you have to go track it. There's stuff to do still.
So all the equipment that you've bought or made, or everything you've done, it's just come to an end. You don't need the EVPs, you don't need the digital recorders, you don't need the UV lights and the IR cameras, or night vision, because you know what it's all about.
But all the animals in a zoo exist and you still go see them. America's here, but you wanted to come here. I
was just checking it was still there. I was making sure it hadn't moved. That was all.
But it doesn't take away the excitement of experiencing it.
Yeah.
I do agree. It is the journey. It is not the destination. And yes, it would change that for you very much. But there are also so many other amazing things to discover and to figure out and to work on, right? Like, I think you're dynamic enough to then your interests would be like, okay, and why are we doing all this? Why are we doing this research? Why are you using the REM pods? You're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. So if you're telling me that you're going to be pissed if you do figure it out, then I totally get it. But I don't think you will be. I think you'll be proud when you figured it out. I think the only problem with instant godliness is that you didn't earn it. So if you were to tell me, I think add a caveat to it, meaning if you had to do this rites of passage to do it, and if you win or you survive it, then you get it, would that be worth it? And I would say yes.
So my thing on it is the mystery of it, the enigma, the trying to work it out for yourself. That is what I'd miss. Getting it wrong, the getting them little bits and joining the dots and getting some of it right. That's the exciting part for me.
Sure.
And then like that thing that I've seen on the plane, it's like never seen anything like that before. Don't know. I've not looked to see if anyone else has, but it's like if I'd have seen that and I know what it is, like, it doesn't matter. I'll just go back to sleep. Where it's intrigued me. It didn't. I wasn't frightened. It wasn't. No, there's nothing negative coming from it. It was just there, and it's like, right, this is happening now, and I've just got to take this in and do something with it. But what I've got to do, I don't know. And that's the best part of it for me, is trying to work out what just happened.
That's valid.
And that's it. That's all I've got.
So you like being ignorant. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. No
No,
judgment.
I wanna try and work out what and why. What it was and why I got to see it. And there's like probably 100, 150 other people on the plane, and no one. If anyone else did see
You
it,
could
nobody
take
said
those
anything.
people and you could be like, hey, here's how to see this. Look at this cool thing that you don't know about yet.
Mm,
You could teach them to see it.
yeah, suppose. But it's not swaying me. No.
It's all right. When me and Ryan find out the mysteries of the universe, we won't tell you.
No. We'll just travel along with you and be like, getting hot, getting cold, getting hot, getting cold.
Yeah.
And it is the mystery. The mystery is fun to solve. Why do mysteries are the best? So trust me, under a different circumstance, I may even be swayed to your side of this discussion.
Yeah. I do get both sides, and the way you've explained it tonight, Ryan, is probably a better way than a lot of the other people have. They've just done it, not being horrible to them, but a reason for them to want to know rather than knowledge for everyone.
Yeah, I always have my kids and my family in the back of my head, and I'm here for them now. And then you guys and our community is a bigger extension of that. And like I said, it just comes back to I'd like people to be comfortable in their mysteries, right? And if I could help with that, oh my God, I would do it in a heartbeat. So figure it out, Andy. Figure it out so you can.
I know.
Okay.
So real quick, Bigfoot Dwarf wants to know, is RPG wearing a Bigfoot made of abalone? We have a local guy in Northern California that makes them. This one also.
Yes. This was originally done by the Spirit Carver. I don't know if that's the guy you're talking about. This is a gift from James Bobo Fay. I fought for 2 years to get him to give me one because whenever we would work with Native Americans or big names in the space, he would give it as a gift. It was the greatest gift, and it's my favorite jewelry. It's if I only wear one thing, this is it. And yes, made of abalone. We actually went and dove for some to catch our own abalone to do it as well. I would love that contact because this is the only thing I would sell, honestly, at every place that I go because it's the one thing everyone would buy, and it's beautiful. And yes. So great eye, sir, great eye. Bigfoot dwarf.
Excellent.
Yep.
Yes. Right. That is it.
Time as usual.
Well, we're kind of not because we had loads of technical issues. You couldn't get on, then we all started glitching, and it just went all pear-shaped a little bit. But we got there, and it was good. And I knew it was going to be good anyway.
Anything you want to plug? You want to link before we wrap?
For me, like I said. Oh, okay. Yeah. He wants to plug airplane flights from England to America. Have you flown British Airways? No. My Bigfoot Life is a documentary film that's coming out that I've done with Daniel about his life. In my opinion, it's bigger than Cryptid. It's bigger than Bigfoot. It's bringing the neurodivergent world and one of the most inspiring success stories, in my opinion, together with the Cryptid world. And we're very excited to share that with everyone and see where that launches to. Also, then on the heels of that will be Legend Seekers, which is family-based and family-orientated, so kids can watch it with their parents, and we shed light in there, but we still look for ghosts, we still look for Bigfoot and all that stuff. It's just done more with families in mind than just straight-up adults. And then, outside of that, like I said, I'm putting a Bigfoot food forest together with my buddy Corey, which I think is really profound. I mean, good soil is where it starts. And for those of us in the space, I hope that you all use some of your success to become the role models that our kids need in the future. And there are just some interesting ways to make stuff cool. And one of them is, going back to nature. Nature is the answer. We talk about Bigfoot, but it's also about being in the woods, just being near a tree. And the larger the tree, the more it can affect you. It'll actually put you into a wake theta state, and there's a reason you feel better. There's a reason when you go to the ocean and the waves are crashing, it's creating negative ions which make you feel better. It's like a storm, nature's the answer. So please, get out into nature and and do that and have fun. And the last thing I'll just pitch is I do all these conferences. They're all wonderful. But if you are serious about going on a cruise and being with a bunch of people where it's more intimate and we have more time together to talk about these things, then consider the Bigfoot cruise to the Caribbean with Gather Up Events. It's amazing, you know. So and Marty's and Nikki are willing to work with people to get them on there. So anyway, besides that, I'm sure there's a bunch of other things, but I love my family and I love you guys. And like I said, search for answers. The mystery is great, obviously, Annie, and I hope you find it. And when you do, if you think I'm worthy, then please share it with me, because
100%.
I love everyone's success. I want you to be successful. So with love, with love.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. And thank you.
It was so good. I knew this.
Who else?
I knew it was going to. Say again.
I said, who else are we thanking? We thanked everybody in the chat for coming on.
Yeah, thank you,
members, Patreon members, everyone listening on podcast, Spotify, Apple, all the others, Audible, getting about 300 downloads a month now, so it's picking up on there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, and I have got a couple of things going on in the pipeline. One that I found out today. I'm doing I'm speaking at a convention conference on the 23rd of August in Wincham. It's Paracon Wincham at Wincham Hall. There's going to be a ghost hunt on the Friday night. The speakers, there's all different vendors and all stuff going on the Friday and Saturday. I think all the free tickets are gone. You can upgrade and get a VIP ticket. They're either £20 or £25. It's £40 for the ghost hunt and everything else in between. But I'll talk about that more on Friday when we start off the guests, and I don't want to take up too much time. So,
can I say two more things? If I don't mention, at the end of August, we have this mini film con that Daniel and we're all putting together. He'll kill me. So that's going to be really awesome. And that is, we are raising money for the neurodivergent community. Please, if you're around his neck of the woods, or you can find it online through me or him, I won't dive too deep in it. And then also, thank you guys for creating a forum where people can come on and talk about these things. My favorite thing about finding Bigfoot was the town halls. And it took a long time to get people comfortable enough to stand and deliver with these extraordinary things that are happening to us. And having a place like this to talk about it and just be heard and get it off your chest is paramount to greater health. So thank you for being out there and providing this for people. It's good. It's real good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No. And it's great to have people on like yourself that go out into the field, into the woods, the forest, and experiences stuff, and then come back and share it with us all.
Yeah.
Lucky enough to get that opportunity.
It's just a working community. Everyone's doing the bit to make it, just keep it rolling. So thank you, everybody, and it was great to meet you the other month. It was absolutely amazing to hang out. It was great to meet Nicole last week and everyone there. And it's just great to meet everyone and see him in person and talk to him and have that physical connection. So it was good, 100%.
Let's get spooky.
Yes. So on that note, we're going to get going because it's well over my bedtime and I'm up at stupid o'clock. Friday is not going to be on for that long because I do have to work Saturday. The first one I've done in like 6 years. The only one I've done. So, same
time, though. Starting at the same time. Probably.
I was going to say 9 till 10. So we do 4 till 5 EST.
Works for me.
Yeah. Just give you time to get in and get started and what have you. So, I'll get that set up and send it all out. So, thank you, Ryan. Absolute pleasure. Good luck with everything you've got going on and with Daniel and everything that's going on in Florida and everywhere else in between. And that is it. So we'll see we'll see you guys on Friday at 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. EST, 1 p.m. PST, I think. Something like that anyway. I don't know. Just tune in and find out.
Look it up. If you subscribe and hit the little notification button, it'll tell you, so you don't have to figure it out.
There you go. Yeah. And I can forget all these time zones if you do that. Right, so take care, everyone. Thank you again. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Nicole. And I'll chat to you guys soon. Take care and goodbye.
Goodbye.